Welcome back to Adrian's Avenue. I am so glad that you're here. You know, one of the number one questions that I'm asked all the time, especially in person, is give us some more savings tips. And so today, I know we just talked about the savings account, but today we're going to talk about some uncommon savings tips. Now, I will let you know up front, some of these I would not do and some of these I don't do, but there are some uncommon ways that you can actually save money on a daily basis. The first one that we'll talk about is something that people used to do a long time ago all the time, and that's bartering for services. You do something for your neighbor does something for you, and it's something that you would normally get paid for, but you decide to just go ahead and do it for them. And because they were so nice to do that for you, you'll do something for them. Now, in one situation in my neighborhood, one of my neighbors helped me out with something that my father was working on and he couldn't finish. And so I sent the email out there, and he said that he actually does these as a hobby. So he did it and helped my father out. And I told him, since he did that, he didn't want any money. I paid for the parts and everything, but he did not want any money. He says he just wanted to do it just to help out. And I told him, look, if you need any notary services, let me know, free of charge. I'll be glad to come and notarize your documents for you. So that's somewhat of a bartering service right there. But we don't normally do that on today's. Normally people, if they do something for you, especially if it's a professional, something to do professionally, they want to get paid for it. They don't want to barter their services. But sometimes if you find their services of value, they find yours is of value, they'll do the bartering system. And this way you don't have to pay someone to do, because I would have had to pay, had he not said it, that he would do it for me, I would have had to pay someone to do this specific service for my dad. So I was grateful for that, and we did work out a bartering. Now I'm still waiting on him to call me for his notary services, but as soon as he calls, I'll be right there to notarize his documents for him. Another way to save money is through the library. Just recently, I got a library card because I hadn't had a library card since I was probably before college. It's been years and years and years since I actually used the library for anything other than going there for meetings or something like that. But I got a library card because I thought it was important. If it's something that I needed to research, I wanted to have availability there. They have computers there. They have the internet there. They have various audio books that you can listen to. There's all sorts of events that go on there. I got it because I wanted to be able to have access to books and magazines that I didn't have to purchase. Also, there's some online books and magazines that you can actually read by having this library card on different apps out there. That's another way to save money that you don't have to pay for that. Plus, they have events at the library that I can go and actually meet people. And as a realtor, I'm always looking for events to go to meet people, see what they do, let them know what I do, and who knows what could come from that. So I had specific purposes for getting my library card, but this is a great way to save money if you're one of those that go through the grocery line and you see every magazine and you want to purchase every magazine, or if there's certain books out there that you just love to have, but they're a little expensive right now, because once you start buying books, guys, it gets expensive. If you buy even one or two a month, it can be expensive. You know, $12.99 here, $20.99 there, $30.99. It can add up. So this is a great way of saving money by using your local library to do that. Now, this money saving tip I do all the time, and that is finding ways to use homemade items to either fix or repair things. Vinegar, baking soda, those kind of things alcohol, they can work miracles, and they can do things that you don't normally use them for. Especially vinegar is good for clearing out stuff. When you mix it with a little baking soda, you can remove stains from porcelain. There are things that you don't know that you can do with these simple things that you have in your home. You know, these are supplies you already have in your cabinets, and you can use those, because the things that you go out and buy, the products that you go out and buy that will remove stains, they may not be as effective as these simple things. What I do is I get on YouTube and see what can I use to do this, what can I use to do that, and try that first before I go out and buy something that may or may not work. And I will give you a scenario. I had a stopped up commode, and I looked at the Home Depot site to see, what tool I could use to go and try to unstop it, or what product I can use. And when I went to the store to visit with them, I had bought one tool and it wouldn't unclog it. So I went back to see, well, maybe there's a product that's strong enough that will just flush out the toilet paper that's stopping it up, and I'll be good to go with that. Well, when I went there, the guy told me that it may or may not work, that this is the most popular brand right now, but he can't guarantee 100% that it's going to work. So I got back on, it was either Home Depot or Lowe's website, and they actually tell you some things you can do to unstop a commode. And with that, I used some Dawn dishwashing liquid because it cuts through grime and grease and all of that, and it'll break up tissue paper if you leave it in there long enough. So I was squeezing a lot in there, it turned all blue, let it sit for a while so that it could go down off in there and do what it was going to do. Then, you guys, this is the key. You don't get boiling hot water because you don't want to break your pipes. If they're PVC pipes, you don't want to do something to your pipes or have something come loose. But you get hot water just by temperature. Turn on the hot water temperature, turn that on, and go ahead and pour that down the commode. That pressure and the heat will go ahead and flush whatever's stopping it up out. It worked like a charm. It worked like a charm. And so now, before I go get a product, before I call a plumber to save me money, I'll try that. And if it works, I'm good. If it doesn't work, I'll call somebody and they'll come out and fix it. But so far, so good. It's been working. And so I keep my pipes clean. Sometimes even when the repair guys come out here, they'll give you some tips on how to keep this clean, how to keep this running smoothly so you won't have to call them again and again. But these are some money-saving tips that actually work. So that's one useful thing. Get on YouTube because it will help you save money. Solar-powered gadgets. For you all that like to light your house up at night, there are a ton of solar lights out there. If you don't want to pay an electrician to come and do the wiring work and put the lights out, that they're very expensive. I have some at my house because I wanted it like that. But I do also have some solar powered lights outside that will help during walking in the sidewalks, help with areas that are far away from the house that would take more wiring to get light out there. And so there are various things that you can do to help yourself. Solar, in Texas, there's a lot of sun shining, especially right now. We don't have rain for a couple of days, a week or two. So there's a lot of sun shining in the 90s. We haven't hit triple digits yet, but they're in the 90s and we're headed to the triple digits. But let's use the resources that we have. Sun is free. Let them power up those lights or whatever solar power. It's not just lights. There are various things out there that you can power up with solar and use it. Will help with the electricity bill or gas bill that you would have to pay in order to get those things to run and work. So let's use our solar power to get things up and running and save even more money. Save money, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make a comment because I am teaching you how to save more money. Some uncommon ways. There are normal ways out there and regular ways that you probably know about, but make sure we're listening to these, taking them down. And like I said, some of them I don't do, but I'm finding out a lot of them I already do. For those of you still in the job market, still working, if you have to go into the office, I know when I used to work, there were a lot of carpooling and share riding going on at my office because some of the folks came from other cities into Austin to work. And if the city was 30 minutes away, 45 minutes away, and you found someone in the city that actually works at the same building you did, it just made sense if you guys can coordinate. If you came in at the same time and left at the same time, you could coordinate, come in and save gas coming in and going. Maybe they even had van pools at my the job that I left. They had van pools, and so you would pay a certain amount. There would be a driver. You'd load on the van pool, come on into work, and then you load on the van pool and go back home, and it would save money and it would save on the number of cars that's on the road. So you're saving on various things. But carpooling, ride sharing is a great way to save money. Thrift shopping is something that I do not do, but some people like to thrift shop. They'll go to, and it's nothing wrong with thrift shopping, don't get me wrong. I just don't do it. But if you go to some of these thrift shops, when it comes to clothes, I'll say, go to the thrift shops for clothing. If you go to thrift shops or even the Goodwill for clothes or items that you want to buy, heavily discounted, you can do that. Some of them, there are some high-end thrift shops that people go to shop at, or, you know, they call them second time shops and all that kind of stuff. So it's just something that I'm not interested in and I don't do, but that's not saying that they don't have good clothes there. I'm sure they wash the clothes, iron them, and get them ready for you to purchase. So if that's something that you're interested in, it can save you money. And I'm sure that there are beautiful items you can find there. As a matter of fact, there are some shops that people wear like their wedding dress or an evening gown once and go sell it to a thrift shop. And you can get gowns worn once, gorgeous gowns worn once, and you won't pay as much as you would pay for them if you bought them new. So this is one way to save money and to help you out. Refurbished Electronics. This is something that I tell you what I did buy is my lawnmower is a self-propelled lawnmower, one of them, self-propelled lawnmower. I did buy that off of Facebook. Someone was offering, I looked for a couple of weeks, finally found one that I was interested in and went to see it, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. And so I negotiated the price. They had one price on there, and I negotiated it down to what I wanted to pay if it was in the condition that they said it was in. It was in great condition. He had bought it to cut his grass, but however, the grass that he was cutting, the lawn was a little more than what this lawnmower could handle. So he cut it a couple of times, and he said he had to get a better, larger tractor mower that would actually cut it. So anyway, it was a great brand, a very reputable brand, that the only brand that I use for a self-propelled mower. I went, looked at it. It was in great condition. He had only used it a couple of times. We talked about it. I saw the oil, I saw the gas, I looked at it, saw the blades and everything checked out. I got it, been using it ever since. A great mower. And even before then, my last one, I had gotten off of Facebook Marketplace also, because going to Home Depot and seeing what they're charging for these lawnmowers, which is out of sight, I'm like, I really don't want to pay that much. And it's just a lawnmower to cut grass, right? So it's like, let me just buy something that's reliable, a good brand that I know that would work, but something that's fairly new, but it can be used. But this way I save money. I saved about $150 by going this route. And if I would have bought one at Home Depot, used it a couple of times, it would have been in the same condition and I would have paid $150 more for it. So there you go. That's one thing that I do as far as looking at refurbished things. I bought refurbished lenses for my Nikon camera too. So those are things that you want to look at, check out, make sure there's some kind of warranty or guarantee on them if you buy something like a camera lens or buy it from a reputable place, and you'll be just fine using that. Now, the last thing that I'll talk about that will save you probably quite a bit of money, I don't do it because I'm not interested in this, but it's house hacking. If you were to, or even renting out your house to rooms to people, if you're trusting enough to have people come into your home to rent houses or to rent rooms out. Some rooms go, I know in Texas, for as much as $750 a room. You have access to the room and the living area and the refrigerator, you know, to put your food in and stuff. But if you're open to this and more trusting of people to come into your house and not do things or take things from you, you know, that's something that you could potentially do, especially if you're just starting out and you need a little extra money or you fall on hard times. You may be open to that. Personally, I don't want someone who I don't know in my house, so I'm not open to the house hacking thing. I would go out and get another job or do something in order to meet the bills before I would just open up to house hacking. I would even sell my house and buy a smaller house if it came to that. But the house hacking thing, I'm not too big on. But for you all that like to do the house hacking, it's worked many times over. And if you have a way to maybe shut off one section where, you know, whoever you're renting to can be there, or some people house hack, they'll leave and go on vacation and let people come stay in their house, you know, to rent their house. So various ways to do the house hacking thing. And if that's something that you're interested in, it can save you, well, it will make you a ton of money. So it's saving you money as well as making you money to meet that mortgage or whatever else that you want to do with it. So that is one, and it's a very uncommon way that people don't necessarily first run to as far as saving money. But the thing about saving money, and this is what I want to really drive home, whether you're doing coupons, cutting coupons, or whatever it is, the money that you save, you need to stick it in a savings account somewhere. You're not saving money so that you can go buy something else with it, right? That's the mistake we made. We'll go to the grocery store, clip out all the coupons and say, hey, I saved $50, I saved $25 on my shopping this week. But what did you do with that $25? You probably didn't put it into a savings account. You left it somewhere and may have bought something else or thinking about buying something else with that money. So make sure if we're saving money on these things, if we're using solar power and your electric bill goes down, whatever you're saving, take that amount that you're saving and put it in a savings account so that you can be accountable for it. You can see it growing and you can see the things that you're doing, you're actually saving money. And once it gets to a certain amount, if you want to pay off a debt or do something with it, that's why you're doing it. You're saving it so that you can move forward, move ahead with your finances. So let's make sure we're doing the right thing with the money that we are saving. Hopefully these tips have been helpful to you, and I will see you in the next video.